Good morning, class. First thing I want to review before we begin with today's lesson, which is dividing decimals by whole numbers, is the 5 steps to division. Let's quickly refresh our memories on that. The 5 steps to division are to first divide, then to multiply, then subtract, then bring down, then begin again. Please copy those notes down. All right, first example of a problem, and I will be making these up just randomly in my own mind. So give me a little smiley face for that right there on your notes, is 4 8/10 divided by 6. Okay, the first question you have to ask yourself every time you come to a decimal problem that is division is, are there any decimals in my divisor? And yes, I'm saying that correct and underlining the right number. Are there any decimals in my divisors? In this problem, there are no decimals in the divisor, which is the 6, so we are free to go ahead and multiply. That will make sense on why I'm doing that way in our next video or the next lesson that we work on. So, before we do the division step of the 5 steps to division, you must first take your decimal from the place that it's at straight up into your answer. Once you do this, then you completely forget about that little decimal being there, and now you divide this just like it's a whole number divided by a whole number. We cannot divide 4 into 6 groups because if you recall, division is dividing stuff into groups. So now let's look at the 48. We can divide 48 into 6 groups, and there will be 8 in each group. So now that we've done the division step, second step is to multiply. 8 times the 6 gives me 48. Third step is to subtract. Last step is to bring down. And then in this problem, you will see I don't have anything to bring down, so we are finished. Our answer for our first example problem is 8/10. As you can see from this example, decimal division, when you're dividing by a whole number, is pretty simple. There's not many steps to it as long as you can follow the 5 steps to division, which again are to divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. You will be just fine. Let's go to the next page. You should have this worksheet in front of you. So let's divide these out. And we're going to follow the same steps, and I want you to copy all these notes down that we just talked about. We're going to divide first, we're going to multiply second, we're going to subtract third, we're going to bring down, and then we're going to begin again if needed. Problem 1, 5 575 thousandths divided by 5. Do I have any decimals in my divisor? And as you can see from the number 5 that I underlined, I do not have any decimals in my divisor. So now I'm going to take my decimal straight up into the division bar. And from this point, I'm going to multiply. I'm going to begin the division process. I'm also going to forget that decimal is anywhere in the dividend. I'm going to divide this like it's 5,575 divided by 5. So this 5 divides into that 1 time. I'm going to multiply second. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract, and then I bring down. Once I bring down, I can clearly see that I need to go back and begin again. So I'm going to divide my 5 into the 5 that I have here at the bottom. That goes 1 time. Multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. Third step is to subtract. Fourth step is to bring down. Once I bring down, I begin again. I'm going to divide my 5 into that 7 down at the bottom. It goes 1 time. That 1 I just wrote up there times the 5 here is 5. Third step is to subtract. Fourth step is to bring down. Please draw those arrows. Once I bring down, I begin again. I go all the way back to the top again and I divide once again. 5 goes into 25. 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. I have 0 left over with nothing left to bring down, and I am finished. My answer is 1 and 115 thousandths. The next problem I want to work is number 2. Number 2. Going to follow the same 5 steps to division. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, begin again. And remember, please write that on your paper. First question I always ask, do I have any decimals in my divisors? No, I do not. So I can go ahead and take the decimal straight up above the division bar, and I can begin the steps to division. Can I divide that 0 into 22 groups? No, I cannot. Put a 0 above it. Can I divide 2 into 22 groups? No, I cannot. Put a 0 above it. Can I divide 22 into 22 groups? Yes, I can. Put a 1 above it. Now that we have divided, let's begin the process. Second step is to multiply. 1 times 22 is 22. Subtract, I get 0, and I have nothing left to bring down. My answer is 1,000th. Let's do a problem like number 3 to where the number in the divisor is greater than single digits. Other than that, nothing changes. I'm still going to follow the same 5 steps to division. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, begin again. Do I have any decimals in my divisor? No. So I take this decimal straight up into the division bar answer, and now I begin the process of dividing. Can I divide 1 into 13 groups? No, I cannot. Put a 0. Can I divide 14 into 13 groups? Yes. That would be a 1. So write that up top. I have divided, so now multiply. 1 times 13 is 13. Subtract. I have 14 minus 13, which is 1, and I'm going to bring down my 3. Once I bring down, I begin again. Divide again. How many times will 13 divide into 13? It will go 1 time. 1 times 13 is 13. When I subtract, I have nothing left. I have nothing left to bring down. My answer is 11 thousandths. Last problem on this page. Do I have any decimals in my divisor of 2? No, I do not. So I can take this decimal straight up into the division, above the division bar into my answer, and I can start the division process. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, begin again. And we begin. Can I divide 1 into 2 groups? No. Can I divide 14 into 2 groups? Yes, I can. That is 7. Once I do that, I can begin my process of following the 5 steps to division. 7, I've divided now, so I'm going to multiply next. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract, have 0. Bring down my 4. Please make sure to draw those arrows when you bring down. It will help you stay aligned. After I bring down, I begin the process again, so I'm going to divide the 2 into the 4, or say how many groups of 2 can I take out of the 4. That is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. After I multiply, subtract, I get a 0. I'm going to bring down my next digit, which is a 6. How many groups of 2 are there in 6? Well, there's 3 groups of 2 in 6. Now that I've divided, I'm going to multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. When I subtract, I get 0, and my last time, bring that 8 down. How many groups of 2 are in 8? There are 4 groups of 2 in 8. I'm going to multiply. When I subtract, I get 0, and I have nothing left to bring down. There's 2 other questions at the bottom of the page. Please try that on your own. You also have 2 more worksheets that look identical to this. I think that will be a total of maybe 10 problems for you to be working on your own before you go to your next assignment. They are this worksheet that begins with 3 708 thousandths divided by 12, and this worksheet that is 9 thousandths divided by 9. I would like for you to work all of the problems on those 2 by yourself